I am walking back home from school with one of my close friends, and I suddenly get a thought that turns my whole mind dark. I feel nihilistic, I feel negative, I feel frustrated. I remember that after school, I had to pick up my new glasses with my mom. My mom was literally giving up her own time. I knew that when I got back home, she was gonna whoop my ass. Okay, well, not literally, but I knew that she was gonna be angry. She was gonna be asking me why I wasn't there. Why was she waiting? Why was I waiting my time? And I was walking back with my friend, and I had this negative thought. I was blaming him. I was seeing him as like in school. He asked me, "Oh, do you want to walk back?" And I had this slight like gut feeling that okay, I need to do something after school. Yet I didn't say it. I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's walk back home." And I completely forgot to pick up my glasses. And I'm 5 minutes away from my home, and I fist bump my friend. We wave goodbye. He walks into his hotel, and I'm cycling back home. And my mind is still so nihilistic, so angry. I'm literally like swearing at my own, like literally my mind's telling, swearing to my own friend. Like literally I'm thinking that I'm gonna scream to my mom, well, why am I late? That I knew she was gonna tell me, she was gonna ask me why was I late, and then I was gonna like scream at her. And as I'm opening the door of my house, I suddenly take a step back and I realize that I am acting with emotion, meaning I was acting without thinking. If I scream at my mom and blame my friend for forgetting to pick up my glasses, all I was gonna do is hurt my relationship with my mother, even though she literally took her own time, literally spent her time literally just sitting at the store waiting for me, and I wasn't even there, just walking back with my friend. I suddenly take a step back and I realize that I am not taking responsibility for my own actions. I realize that it was my own fault that I didn't remember to pick up my glasses. And I was thinking out of emotion rather than logically, rather than with thinking. Because really imagine if I did lash out to my mother. Imagine if I did just literally shout at her, telling her it was all my friend's fault. He made me forget, which, by the way, it wasn't my friend. Like, it wasn't anything to do with him. Like, I completely forgot, really. Like, imagine if I just screamed at her and she got angry. She started screaming back, and then I like slammed my door. And now I'm not even recording this video. I would be just like sitting in my room, angry, not really, just worsening my relationship with my mother. And this is really the point I want to drill into you, that I really learned today, that I want to pass this message on to you and just really my future self if I ever rewatch this video. And that is, never beware of when you're acting with emotion and not really thinking logically. Because remember, like I told you, I was cycling back home. I was so angry at my friend, even though it was like nothing to do with his fault. I still had like this kind of sense that, yeah, it was really my fault. But it's so easy to just blame other people. It's so easy to just blame other people for your problems. Blame other people for why you forgot something. Blame other people for whatever. But I really took responsibility and thought to myself that, okay, it wasn't really my friend's fault. As I was riding back with my bike, I was thinking like, okay, I'm going to scream at my mom. I'm going to tell her this. And she might not listen, but I don't care. It's like, oh, me. And then I realized that it was going to worsen my relationship with my mother. It was going to probably worsen my relationship with my friend, because I would see him as this negative person, even though he didn't do anything. And what I also learned today is to take responsibility for your own actions. Like I said, it's so easy to just blame other people. Blame my friend. Blame your family, your dog, whatever. Like, blame other people for your own problems. But you gotta almost take a step back. And there's a concept from the book of the subtle art of not giving a fuck, which is you need to actually take responsibility for your actions. Because if you keep blaming other people, if you keep just telling, oh, it's because of him, it's because of her, it's because of this thing, and it's because of this, then you're not really taking responsibility for your actions. You're not really taking responsibility for your problems, and you're blaming other people, meaning you're not trying to find solutions to these problems that then could lead into other problems. And there's a mindset that I'm currently having that I really kind of want to push into you, which is, think to yourself that if your life is not better in 1 month from now, it's not because of your family, your situation. It's all because of you. Literally, just picture this. If your life right now is not better 1 month from now, it's completely your fault. And I might sound like disrespectful for saying this, but it's kind of like what you need to hear. Something that I heard and I'm like, okay, it clicked into my mind and it makes sense. It makes sense that if my life is not better in 1 month from now, I am the guy who writes my own story, my life story. I am the guy who takes actions. I am the guy who... You are the guy who would go to the gym or fap. You are the guy who would choose to eat clean or go out with your friends or drink and eat sugar. You are the person who makes the decisions. Nobody else. This is the same mindset that you want to have, that you actually deserve to be where you are in life. Even, like, of course, if you're like in some third world country and like and like extreme scenarios where like you get hit by a bus, or like you're just walking in the pavement, you're in your area, and some car just drifts into you and like accidentally like hits you, and now you're injured. That's like, don't be stupid. That's like extreme scenarios. But you actually deserve to be where you are in life. If you feel the way you feel, it's because you did something to feel that way. If you feel lazy, if you feel never productive, if you wake up and score your phone, it's because you probably have poor mental health. It's because you probably not at that level. Because let's say you're not consistent with meditation, it's probably because you really haven't taken like action and probably thought to yourself, okay, how can I get back to meditation? How can I actually start meditating? How can I get more consistent with meditation? These are the kind of questions that are so simple. You just get a piece of paper and you just ask yourself these simple questions, and you break down your problems and you just solve them so easily. For example, I was not getting consistent with my meditation, and it was like I usually meditate for 10 minutes. Like, this is not me boasting or whatever, but like, I usually meditate for 10 minutes, which is pretty good, I would say. And recently, I haven't really been meditating as much, and you can maybe tell from the fact that I speak like really quickly in these videos, and sometimes I kind of like mind wander. I kind of like think of other things while as I'm speaking in this video, in some of my latest videos, I would say. And I literally just got my journal, just a piece of paper and a pencil. You can do this in like your your screen, Notion, or just the best part is just you get a piece of paper, you get a pencil, and just write down your problem. You write down, I have not been consistent with meditation. I have been fapping again. I have been missing my workouts. I have done this. And then you really ask yourself why. And your brain actually starts working, because as you're just having like this problem, like you haven't been meditating, you try to meditate again for 10 minutes, but you can't really get back into the routine of it. And it's like your whole mind is just like you know how you get like a tangled headphones, like the iPhone headphones, like it's just like a knot. When you actually write down and you ask yourself why have I not been consistent? How can I get back to meditation? You can like start to unravel this knot. Okay, why have I not been consistent with my meditation? Because I don't really not like when I do it, because I used to do it like early in the morning, but then I started doing it late at the night, which I didn't really enjoy. Really ask yourself like these simple questions, like, and how can you get back on it? Maybe lower the bar of success instead of trying to like meditate again for 10 minutes. If you haven't been consistent for, I don't know, like a few months, then just try to meditate for 3 minutes. It's gonna seem easy, and that's the whole point. It's like one of the concepts of Atomic Habits, making it easy. If you make it easy, then it's more likely that you're gonna do it. And let's say you meditate for 3 minutes, and not even that, you can literally even meditate for 1 minute. Even taking one breath, it's just one conscious breath is almost better than just not meditating at all. And then you take one conscious breath, and then you meditate for 1 minute, and then you meditate for 3 minutes, and then you meditate for 5, 10, 20, and before you know it, you're back into your routine. And coming back to the concept of not allowing your emotions to get the better of you, is even while I was sitting in science, my friend or this one of my classmates kept like poking my back, kept like literally calling me names. He like, imagine somebody's like sitting in the back of your science class, and the teacher's in front. We have like a supply teacher, and this guy's like strict. He's like, if he sees you turning around or talking, he's like instantly puts your name up on the board. You get sent out, you get detention, and you can't do anything. So this guy keeps poking my back. He keeps saying, oh, you gay guy, oh, you little Mexican enchilada muncher. And like, I'm getting annoyed, I'm getting frustrated. I'm thinking of like literally turning around and punching this guy. I'm almost visualizing, like, imagine this. Imagine if you were in the same scenario. This guy's calling you gay. This guy's literally telling you racist stuff. Like, you really want to punch him. You're getting like this urge. You're almost visualizing how you're gonna like hurt him, how you're gonna choke him, how you're gonna punch him, how you're gonna do all this. And I literally lash out. I turn around, and I almost just like jump at him. And a thought comes in, and I realized it was not worth the consequences of it, because I could have lashed out at him. Yeah, I gotta remind. My teacher put up my name on the board, but I didn't care, because imagine if I did lash out at him. So what I did was I almost jumped out at him, and I just thought to myself that it was not worth it, and I went back to my desk, and the teacher just wrote my name up on the board for just like jumping out of nowhere. And imagine if I did like fully on lash out, punch him, and then start choking him, because that's what I was visualizing in my head. Imagine if like this guy's like really, really annoying you, and you like almost visualize how you're gonna punch him and then fucking choke him. Imagine if I did punch him and I started choking him out. Imagine if I accidentally punch his nose and I accidentally break it or something, and I choke him and I forget to like let go. Like suddenly he just stops trying to like unstrangle himself, and he just goes like so weak, but I'm still angry and I still choke him. and let's say I end up killing him. Imagine how many problems my family, myself, my future self would have had. I would have probably gone to prison for that. I would have probably not even like getting suspended. Like, I would have gone to prison for that, for hurting another man. And yeah, it was like justifiable. And why did this all happen? Why could have this almost happened? This almost happened. Remember, I jumped at him, but then I was like, okay, this was not worth it. It was all because I was acting with emotion rather than thinking logically, thinking of, was this actually something that I wanted to do? Something that's gonna affect my future? Because imagine if I just punch his nose and it starts choking him out. Imagine I just punch his nose and then he ends up like bleeding, screaming, he's like covering his nose. He gets rushed to the hospital, and a few days later, a policeman knocks in your door and your family opens up and they tell you that you have to pay this fine for hurting this child, and that you have to go to prison for doing, like, you have to go to prison for doing this, and your family has to pay for surgery because you broke his nose. All because you acted from emotions. And this could have genuinely happened to me if I didn't just have this mindset of literally thinking before I act. If it wasn't for the fact that I read, a little bit of the subtle art of not giving a fuck, my life would have been completely different. You would have been seeing this video. I would probably be in prison or something. This is really the lesson I want to pass on to you, because it's something that is very, very powerful. Because your emotions are really powerful. This is how people sell to you. You need to understand that emotions are not just like you acting physically, like punching a guy or doing something you weren't supposed to. It's also the magic formula people use to actually sell you. Like, for example, Iman. You probably know Iman. This guy uses emotions of fear of missing out, and his campaigns, like, he always, like, the rescue, the rescue, the times up, or those kind of campaigns. He's always kind of promoting this idea that if you don't get into agency now, if you don't buy my program now, then you're going to miss out. Then you're not going to be able to become successful. You see what he's doing? He's like really digging into your like primal emotions of status, of money. These are like primal emotions we as men, as humans have, of being high in the hierarchy. We don't want to be low. We don't want to be like losers amongst our tribe. We want to be like high. We want to be next to or be the leader. We don't want to be broke. We want to have money. We want to be financially free. We don't want to live our lives just full of stress, just trying to like live from penny to penny, living like a job we don't hate. We having to work a job we hate. We don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, at least. People sell you just from emotions. And why? Because emotions make you act without thinking. And it's just like the stories I told you, where I could have screamed at my mom, or I could have punched my friend, but I didn't. I realized that all of this was just instant gratification. I could have punched that guy and felt like so masculine, felt so big. I felt like, oh yeah, the whole class is looking at me. They will see that I'm dangerous, that I can hurt like another human, I can hurt another guy, that I'm like almost the strongest in my class. Like, girls will be looking at me and almost like screaming. Yet it'll feel good now, but when the policeman comes in and he gives me like, and he gives my family the fine and I like get arrested or something, then what would have happened? I would have regretted every single action I would have done at that moment. And that sounds very familiar, doesn't it? You feel good now, but later you regret what you just did. Instant gratification. It's just like if you skip your workout. It's just like if you fap. It's just like if you eat sugar. It feels good now to just sit in your room and watch another self-improvement video. It feels good to just fap and get like that subtle feeling of intimacy when you should be actually going out and attracting girls. You feel good now just eating the sugar, feeling the sweetness in your mouth. Yet you regret it in your future when you're fat and obese, when you have a porn addiction, when you realize that you haven't gone to the gym for 7 times in a day. And these are things that have happened to me. I haven't worked out for 7 days because it's felt good, hasn't it? But these are really the lessons that I wanted to teach to you today. And if you're interested, I have a community where you can learn with like-minded men who are also into self-improvement, who are also like trying to like learn these like big mindsets, so like their life doesn't just get completely shifted from just acting with emotion. Like really like a closed-minded where you can learn from me, where you can learn from each other. We like have a community. You speak to other guys. Imagine this, like you ask for advice on something that you might have a problem of, I don't know, your family, you're trying to like maybe just improve your productivity, you're trying to read faster, you're trying to do whatever, you're trying to get consistent in the gym, you're trying to get consistent with meditation, whatever, and you ask for advice in this community, and some guy and smart guys literally come in and give you actually like decent good advice, that, and you actually go like, oh, I didn't realize that, and some guy comes and helps you, and you realize, oh, that's why I've been meditating, and then you manage to make like much more improvement into your life by having these like helpful people, like a school close community, because it's a lonely journey being on self-improvement. I had this same feeling, you probably have the same feeling, where you almost like don't relate to anyone. Everybody's just like losers basically. They all just watch social media. They don't want to improve their lives. Like, yeah, you might have like some one or two friends that go to the gym that work out, but they're not like actively trying to improve their life, their health, their mental health. They're not thinking about like 10 years from now, like their future children, like their future wife, their future. They were just kind of like living in the moment. Yeah, it's all emotions, it's all fun, just partying, watching porn, playing video games. So that'll be the first link in the description where you can join this community, and I'll see you in there.